Bore da pawb. Hello everybody. Got rain on my glasses. Welcome to my wild Welsh garden. I've put my pink hat on and my colours to try and cheer myself up a bit because it's such a grey, miserable day. Yes, it's another named storm. Do you know, I've lost track of the names now. We had Storm AO in last week, which turned, for South Wales anyway, turned out to be not nearly as bad as the previous two. It landed in west of Ireland, so people on the west of Ireland, like poor Colette at Bealtaine Cottage, have really suffered, I think. But it tracked north-east, so it kind of missed out South Wales and went across North Wales and into Scotland. Yeah, so it was very windy, but not much rain and no damage, so very thankful for that. And some more good news is that the bullfinches have been for their breakfast pretty much every morning this week. And here's a very handsome male feeding out of the sieve, which is really just meant to catch the seeds that the other birds drop when they're on the feeders. But he does seem to prefer to feed out of the sieve, either that or from the table. He doesn't like going on the feeders at all. In my last video, when I did the tour of the garden, I did a kind of to-do list at the same time, and I ended up with quite a lot on my list. And it can be daunting at this time of year, and I think a lot of gardeners feel the same. But the only thing you can do when you have a to-do list is to do some of the things that are on it. So that's what I decided to do, and I decided that I would start at the front. So the plan for the front is to sow a wildflower meadow, because the way it was full of non-native plants and shrubs, so it really wasn't doing any favours for wildlife at all. The problem being, though, that some of these plants and shrubs were quite old and had very deep roots, and it was all just beyond me. I can't do that sort of thing anymore. So I decided I needed to hire some muscle and I would get a man in. So that's where I'm going to start anyway, out at the front. And yes, it was earlier in the week. So a chap came out to have a look at this and gave me a price, which was, yes, quite a lot of money. But it did include getting rid of the stuff that he's going to dig out. And he said he'd have to pay for that. And I said, well, you don't need to do that because I can put it over the road. So he's given me another price that just involves the digging out. And so I need to do a little bit, give a little bit of attention to my over the road in order to accommodate the stuff that he's going to dig out. And I'll take you over there now. This is my over the road. It's just a little bit of land which is basically builder's rubble that drops very steeply over there down to the river, and it's just full of stuff, mostly brambles, and I don't do anything to it during the summer. I just leave it. I've planted some trees in it and I'm waiting for those to grow, and I'm trying to sort of build a dead hedge along the edge here, and the other side of the dead hedge is a bramble patch. I made a video this time last year, and some of you may remember it, and I said that somebody'd put in planning permission, asking for planning permission to build a big 4-bedroomed house right next to my little bit of land here, where that little old hut is. Well, I'm really pleased to say that it was refused, and I don't know whether they're going to appeal, I don't know whether they're going to try again, but anyway, so far so good. No big 4-bedroomed house, and I still have my bramble patch, because the bramble patch isn't on my land, that's next door's land. But so the plan is that I keep adding to this dead hedge, and that's where the stuff that he digs out of the front garden is going to go. And I can actually get in at this time of year. It's really difficult to get into here during the summer. But perhaps you can see over there, I've started to tidy things up a bit and cut out the bramble shoots. And I've planted 2 of the little bare root elder trees here. One's there and one's there. And there's the hedgehog box that I was given with no hedgehog in it. I've been working out here for about an hour, I think, and all the time I've been serenaded by a lovely song thrush who's sitting right at the top of that old ash tree. But there's the song thrush. But yeah, he's singing his little heart out, trying to attract a lady song thrush. And yes, it's been lovely listening to him. And now he's gone, so just as I finished, so that's okay. I don't think you could hear him with this microphone, which is a noise cancelling one. And so I had to go with the directional mic, but the problem with that is it picks up all the traffic noise as well. But it just does give you an idea of how beautiful he sounds. And this is what I've been doing, just tidying up the dead hedge. So I've cut the brambles back away from the pavement so nobody can complain about getting scratched. And I've pulled a lot of the runners and the stems off that are growing out of the ground over there and are sort of looping over from the brambles in the bramble patch, and just chuck those up onto the dead hedge. So it's all ready for when my chap comes on Saturday to help me with the front, to put stuff on, and then that's done now. I shan't touch that again until this time next year. Now it's Saturday morning. The sun is just peeping over the hill. The song thrush is singing. And the great front garden clearance has begun. And a barrow full of stuff for the dead hedge. So we're making progress. He's been here a couple of hours and we've made quite a good team actually. He's been doing the digging up and the hacking back and chucking stuff over onto the wheelbarrow, which has been on the pavement, and then I've been taking it over and stacking it on the dead hedge over there. But unfortunately, he did not come prepared with the right tools. I think he didn't really look at what I was asking him to do in any detail. He just assumed that, it would be any other old lady's front garden. So he's completely knackered his fork. And so he's gone off to change that. He wanted to use mine. And I said, well, you're not going to do the same to mine, are you? And so we decided that he wouldn't use mine. And he's gone off to exchange his. And also to get some horrible power tool that he thinks is going to be able to remove this cotoneaster. And his loppers weren't strong enough. Those are his, so I lent him mine. He says he's going to get some like that. So what he's going to do, what I've asked him to do, is to clear the ground to within a foot of the edge of the wall. And then I think there'll be plenty of cotoneaster root in that foot that can sustain the growth that's growing down the wall. And so I'll get my wildflower meadow and the birds will get their food in the winter. That's the plan anyway. But as I've already seen, things don't always go to plan. Anyway, he says he's going to be about an hour. So I'm going to go in and have a cup of coffee and watch the birds. And there it is, all cleared, all finished. It's going to need digging over again, but I don't mind doing that now all the hard work's been done. So there you have it. The great front garden clearance has happened, and I do have mixed feelings because I didn't like him using power tools. Yeah, he called himself a gardener, but I think we had quite different ideas of exactly what gardening is. But it's done now, and I think it's one of these situations where things have to get worse before they get better, because it does look like a wasteland at the moment, and the fence is horribly bare. But you know, I've tried so many different climbers up that fence, and they just haven't taken at all. So a couple of years ago, I gave up and I thought, well, I'll just plant native hedge plants along there. So I've done that, and they've taken and they're growing, and I've added the little elder, and I've got some other things to add. So what I'll do is leave it now until March to sow the wildflower seeds, and anything that does come up, anything that's recognisable that I want to keep, I'll leave, and anything else I can just, you know, hoe off or pull out. So I think that's all I've got to show you this week in my Wild Welsh garden. So it just remains for me to say thank you for visiting me again, and you know, I do love your company, and I love to read all your comments, and particularly to hear what you're doing in your gardens, because that's what the channel is all about, and that's what makes it all worthwhile. But just to finish, I thought I would show you some more of the birds that come into my garden, not on the bird feeders this time, but in the bird bath. And you can see from these little videos that they bathe in this water, but they also drink from it as well. Yeah, I'm not sure I'd want to drink somebody's second-hand bath water, but this is what the birds do, and it does highlight the importance of keeping these water containers clean. So I do try and clean it out. I don't do it every day, but I try and do it several times a week. So I'll leave you with the birds, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye, wildflower.